was this, it clear about the artificial intelligence. I can see a lot of students from other schools around the back years. And during the retreat I had some time ago, last November, I was asking the team master, is the Catholic Church actually doing about this artificial intelligence coming like this one age? We belong to the other and that some of us as parents or even grandparents should be up and doing in the present all this new approach and how to protect the younger ones. People who have done have had it easy. What of this additional one coming as special intelligence where people are going to misuse it? So it has been of great concern to us as parents, and then I can see that the Catholic Church is moving up and down to be equal to the task. As I look at Reverend Father, I say, I wish one of my children were a Reverend Father. I wish it was not possible as that Reverend Father, then we should be able to support the church in any way that is possible. So that has been my concern. And when the day was drawing near, I was looking forward to it, that I will be able to, something is being done, and the Catholic Church is equal to the task. The Catholic Church is never sleeping. They are all working ahead. And as law, technology takes precedence. Before laws are being made to control, it will be getting too late. It's only when you go out of our way that they start making laws. And the law may be too late at that time. Intelligent would have taken a lot of our children astray. So it's my prayer that this occasion that we're holding here will spread the good gospel in evangelization and guiding the children in secondary schools and at every stage in the world at large. All this we ask Jesus Christ, our Lord. Thank you so very much. Catholic Church is one of the biggest stakeholders in Nigerian project. Of course, the church in Nigeria has millions of membership. The hierarchy of the Catholic Church in Nigeria is led by the Metropolitan of Owerri Province, the Archbishop of Owerri Archdiocese. When he speaks on behalf of all the Catholics in Nigeria. Distinguished invited guests, help me to welcome to the President of the Catholic Bishop Conference of Nigeria, as he gave us his keynote address. I think we'll keep clapping until he takes the microphone from me. I expect the students to clap for the Bishop Conference. Thank you. Your Grace, welcome.
Your Eminence, Your Lordships, Chairman of the occasion, my dear brothers and sisters in Christ. How wonderful and pleasant for all clergy, consecrated men and women, and the lay faithful to assemble in Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria, for this maiden Comweek public lecture. I'm delighted to behold the galaxy of participants at this program, ranging from the clergy, consecrated men and women, major and minor seminarians, to secondary school students, youths, leaders of lay organization, and the gentlemen of the press. I greet you all and welcome you to Abuja. As we gather here today, it is imperative to acknowledge our duty as church to shed light on the burgeoning phenomenon of artificial intelligence, AI, guided by Vatican II decree on the means of social communication, Inter Mirifica number 2, we recognize our responsibility to educate the faithful on the positive and negative influences of the media. My role today is to present the keynote address. Much like an appetizer waits the appetite for the main course, this keynote address sets the stage for the rich discussions to follow, led by our esteemed resource persons. Since the establishment of the World Communications Day in 1967, this celebration marks its 58th edition. We, the Catholic Bishops of Nigeria, have taken a proactive step by extending it to a week-long event known as Communications Week, which has provided media education for God's faithful in Nigeria. We are proud to report the significant growth of this initiative as we celebrate third edition. This inaugural edition of the Comweek represents another significant milestone. I extend my appreciation to the National Director of the Directorate for Social Communication, Father Michael Lamar, for spearheading the Comweek and for this first Comweek lecture. Through this annual lecture, the Catholic Bishops of Nigeria intend to create a forum where experts can discuss issues that concern not the church and her mission, but also the broader welfare of society. It is a platform for exchanging ideas and amplifying the church's voice on matters that affect humans and society beyond the usual communique molecularly issue. Our topic today, artificial intelligence, challenges and opportunities for evangelization and social development, underscores our commitment as church to address not only the moral and spiritual welfare of people, but also their social and material needs. We will create awareness on the revolutionary positive impact on humanity and society by artificial intelligence, while raising the ethical concerns arising from its abuse. The meaning of the term artificial intelligence is the role of the subject of the week. Rather than it as artificial suggests verification and human intelligence.
Despite its versatility and technological progress,
AI remains a facsimile of the original, namely human cognition. AI is a term born from
advances in computer science and digital technology. It endows machines with the capacity of intelligent behavior
Today, computers can perform tasks traditionally requiring human intelligence, such as understanding natural language, recognizing patterns,
learning from data,
and making decisions. This has turned out to be a cause for joy
and a reason
for worry at the same time. Joy because of the enormous positive possibilities as a result of the digital technology, and worry because of the grave
life-defining dangers they pose at the same time. As we stand in 2024, AI has permeated various facets of life.
There are evolving applications ranging from multimodal AI processing of text, images, and videos to customized chatbots, which empower individuals to create AI models without coding expertise. AI governance, which aids in administrative tasks. AI for business, optimizing operations across sectors, contributing to education, healthcare, and economic growth.
An ethical AI, which focuses on the moral principles guiding the rules and development of AI. Likewise, it is instructive to note the advent of magisterial AI, a technology created by
the unique colors for the common good. This inclusive application of technology aids in religious formation, pastoral care, and education, making theological knowledge more accessible and enhancing the church's mission more than ever before. Despite the enormous benefits, the development and the following of AI digital technology
AI digital technology must be approached with caution and ethical rigor.
We must strive for balance that prioritizes human welfare along technological progress, mindful of
the ethical and moral dilemma,
as well as risks such as weapon displacement, threat to peace in the world,
spread of falsehood through propaganda, manipulation of the human person,
and violence to ourselves through advanced hacking and deepfakes. The Church has ceaselessly emphasized that collaboration between AI experts and social development practitioners is crucial. Together, we can identify areas where AI can significantly contribute to the common good. And in February, we hope to learn from experts the responsible and ethical use of AI, not only to benefit society, but also to support the church's evangelization efforts.
AI should be
A role for empowerment and progress,
not a
source of revolution and destruction. In conclusion, as we stand on the hopes
of a new era shaped by
artificial intelligence, we are all called to be both shepherds and stewards. Shepherds to guide our flock through the complexities of this digital age. Stewards to ensure that the technology we embrace serves the common good and reflects our values. As my special contribution to this conversation on AI, I wish to stress that we need to walk this path with caution, wisdom, foresight, and a deep sense of responsibility. Echoing the mind of the Holy Father Francis, its message for 2024 World Communication Day, let us embrace AI as a force that diminishes our humanity, but as a tool that amplifies our capacity for empathy, compassion, understanding, and service. AI is to build bridges, not barriers, to heal, not harm. To sit back and enjoy the special menu on artificial intelligence as served by the body of experts we have engaged for this purpose. Welcome once more, and thank you for your kind attention. God bless you.
Applause was for me. Can we now give a round of applause for the president of the conference? The president said artificial intelligence is an evolving technology that tries to simulate human intelligence using machines.
Performing complex such as reasoning, making decisions, and solving problems.
Of the conference.
So that we relax our minds before I call the person who is worthy to introduce our guest speaker to the podium. DJ, to you.
For Maiden Comweek, the Catholic Secretariat of Nigeria, CSN, adds another element to the celebration of the annual Communications Week Comweek program. Federal Republic of Nigeria. Archbishop Lucius Luigi Ugochi, the Catholic Bishops' Conference of Nigeria president, will be there to give the keynote address, while His Eminence John Cardinal Onaikan will be the special guest of honor. The speaker is Reverend Professor Anthony Achimole, OP, and other discussants are Reverend Sister Dr. Florence Osho, EHJ, Reverend Father Dr. Uche Bodoichina, Lady Ogu Chandos Okorie is the chairperson, Public Lecture Planning Committee. Over 500 participants are expected in attendance, including captains of industries, dignitaries from all walks of life, students, journalists, tech gurus, and representatives from the church. Comweek, growing media literacy. 4. Discipleship. Convener, the Reverend Father Michael Nsikak Omo, the National Director of Social Communications, CSN Abuja. Announcer.
I welcome to
somebody to introduce the professor
who is going to talk to us. May I invite members of the panel, beginning with the Executive Secretary of Caritas Nigeria, Very Reverend Father, welcome to the high. I also invite to the stage Reverend Sister Florence Osho. I'm sorry. Can we put our hands together for sister? She is a sister of the Eucharistic Heart of Jesus. Are they okay? I want to humbly and respectfully invite to the stage the international communication specialist from Dangote Industries Limited, all the way from Lagos, Mr. Abiodun Temitayo Alade. Is he here? Okay, put your hands together for him. Sorry, I didn't introduce you earlier than now. Like I said, the speaker, guest speaker, is too heavy for me to introduce, and so because I'm not in the academia, but he has his brother who will do justice to that. And it is good that our students are here, because many times when profiles or citations of great men are read, it is for inspiration. And then they will behold a great man that we're talking about. Let me now invite to the podium the rector, National Missionary Seminary of St. Paul, Kokolada in Abuja, Very Reverend Father Dr. Raymond O. Aina, MSP, who will now introduce our. Can we put our hands together as Father Aina takes to the stage?
A guest speaker was born in Butemeta in June 1962. Religious profession in the order of preachers popularly called the Dominicans, September 1981. At the seminary in Bodija, Ibadan. Studied also the Faculty of Theology in Kinshasa, Democratic Republic of Congo. On December 1987. And after his ordination, went for his post-priestly studies, had a master's degree and a licentiate in theology from the College of the Dominican Order, Ottawa in Canada. Thereafter, got a doctorate in systematic theology at Boston College, and he taught there between 1993 and 1996. And then he became the Chief of the Dominican Institute between 1996 and the year 2000. And thereafter, he became the president of the same institute from 2004 to 2016. And as if that was not enough, he became the pioneer vice chancellor of the Dominican University between 2017 and 2022. Of course, a golden fish has no hiding place. Our guest speaker is well sought after, not just in Nigeria, but also out of the shadows of this. And that's why we've been consultant to a couple of plenaries in Africa and also at the Vatican. In 2022, the back meeting my private chair of the Vatican University of St. Thomas called the Angelicum in Rome. Most recently, he has conferred with the ancient title Master in Theological Studies, Magister in Sacra Theologia, the highest academic title in the order of Dominicans. He's never tired, ever writing. He has 3 books to his name and more than 100 articles to his name. Currently, he is the Deputy Vice Chancellor, Augustine University, Lara Ekpe, Lagos State. He is a polyglot, one who speaks many languages. He speaks Yoruba, English, French, has a reading knowledge of Latin, Greek, Hebrew, Italian, Spanish, German, Hausa. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming to the program today our guest speaker, Professor Anthony Alaba Akinwale.
Your Eminence, Your Grace, my Lord Bishops, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Some weeks ago on a Saturday morning, we were getting ready to drive to the campus of Augustine University to say mass for the students. I could not replace the prayer because call for a better night. And while I was trying to solve that crisis, my phone rang. It was Father Michael Omo who called me, and the way he spoke, I couldn't say no to his request. This Comweek invited me to on that occasion. When I consider his immense organizational skills, I couldn't say no to his request. So thank you very much for inviting me. It is a privilege which I do not take for granted. This year, the fourth Sunday of Easter, as it is every year in the liturgical calendar of the Roman Catholic Church, the proclamation of the Gospel at Mass was about Jesus telling his disciples that he is the Good Shepherd. On that Sunday, I received an unusual gift from eldest nephew, Bayo, who sent me an artificial intelligence generated homily on the Gospel of the Good Shepherd. Reading through it, I must confess, was reading a very good commentary on the Gospel passage. However, for 2 reasons I did not use it. First of all, I had already prepared and pronounced my homily before I checked what was posted on my Facebook page by my nephew. I saw the post after Mass. Secondly, even if I had seen it before Mass, I would not have used it as homily, for even though the commentary on the text of the Gospel of the Good Shepherd was quite good, delivering an artificial intelligence generated homily would not sit well with the way a Dominican is supposed to preach. It would not sit well with the motto of the Dominican order to contemplate and to share with others the fruit of one's contemplation. The preaching of a son or daughter of the order of preachers ought to be fruit of his or her contemplation. An artificial intelligence generated homily is anything but fruit of contemplation of the one who uses it.
Yet religion cannot ignore the accomplishments of science and technology.
What is to be done, or what is to be borne in mind, is the need for prudential usage of what science and technology offers humanity. How that is to be done is not what one learns from the Faculty of Science and Technology. It is learned in the realm of individual. In this lecture, therefore, I intend to explore how the astounding accomplishment artificial intelligence represents can be of use for the work of development and evangelization in our time and time. But there is a preliminary question, even if it is habitually taken for granted. The question is, attempting to respond to that question in the first part of my intervention. The second and third parts briefly consider the implication of the answer for development and evangelization. So, is there artificial intelligence? To formulate the question, in other words, in a different order of words, can it ever be properly asserted that intelligence is artificial? My response to this question has a preface, and the preface comes by way of a description of the field of knowledge, that is, the scope of all that is knowable, and a description of the social attributes of our intelligence. But there is a preface before my preface. It is the definition of artificial intelligence I find to be quite intriguing. According to Eliot, and I quote, generative AI is based on a complex computational algorithm that has been data trained on text from the internet and admittedly can do some quite impressive pattern matching to be able to perform a mathematical mimicry of human wording and natural language. End of quote. Having said this, I now return to my proper preface. Concerning this, the first thing to say about the field of knowledge is that it is vast. It is vast because there is a lot to be known. The human intellect, despite its enormous force, and despite all it has known, has so far shown itself to be incapable of knowing all that is knowable. A thing is knowable because it is real, but the human intellect has not been able and will never be able to grasp all that is real. Reality exceeds the capacity of the human intellect. The extent of what is knowable by far exceeds the grasp of our intellect because the human intellect seeks to know. Because when the human intellect seeks to know, it finds itself on a vast field it cannot cover by its cognitive capacity. It was the expanse of the field of knowledge that influenced John Henry Newman in his seminal work, The Idea of a University, to describe this field as a vast terrain divided into three provinces of knowledge. First is the province of knowledge of divine realities, which is a province of theology. The second is the province of knowledge of nature, which is a province of natural sciences. And the third is the province of knowledge of human nature, of which is the province of arts. About a century after Newman, Bernard Lonergan would speak of field specialization, subject specialization, and functional specialization. Field specialization would represent the faculties in a university. Subject specialization would represent the department domiciled within the faculties. And subject specialization would represent the faculties within those departments. Now, it belongs to the province of knowledge that philosophy is to scrutinize, clarify, and define assumptions and locations in quest for acquisition and communication of knowledge. In concrete terms, philosophy does not take things at their face value, but endeavors to go beneath and behind what is seen. Thus, philosophy's double task is to unearth what is hidden beneath what is seen and to reveal what lies behind what is seen. In this specific instance, it falls within the academic province of philosophy to take a closer look and take a more careful look at what is designated as artificial intelligence. Using a philosopher's eye, it has become important to come to a preliminary conclusion, which I intend to share in and that conclusion is artificial. If artificial, it is not intelligent. If it is intelligent, not artificial. Philosophically, that which is designated artificial turns out to be anything but intelligent. Now, that is not to say that inventors of what we conveniently call artificial intelligence are bereft of intelligence. Neither is it to say that those who insist on using the designation are also lacking in intelligence. Rather, to say there is nothing intelligent in that which is designated artificial is to say if it is intelligent, it is not artificial. My conclusion is premised on two assumptions. First, an intelligent agent is endowed with self-consciousness. And secondly, an intelligent agent is endowed with self-volition. Inasmuch as what is conventionally designated as artificial intelligence is lacking in self-consciousness, self-volition, it would not be exact to speak of artificial intelligence. An intelligent agent is endowed with attributes which a mathematically programmed gadget regurgitating mathematically fed data does not have. A mathematically fed and mechanistically manipulated gadget, lacking the essential attributes of self-consciousness and evolution, is anything but intelligent, unless, of course, one could sustain the argument that parrots and Pavlov dogs are intelligent simply because they perform acts which they have been programmed to perform and repeat at times and intervals chosen by their trainers and or by their instincts. But intelligence is a lot more than repetition of acts previously fed into a system. And if we are ready to tread the path of ascribing intelligence to dogs, parrots, and Pavlov dogs, to animals, we must be ready to grant animals the right to vote and be voted for in our political process, the eligibility to represent us and or other animals in public offices of representative democracy. Not only is an intelligent agent conscious of itself and of the object towards, an intelligent agent is endowed with self-volition. It is endowed with free will, and it exercises free will. An intelligent agent willfully engages in the process of knowing. In other words, it may will to know and it may will not to know. It may will to share its knowledge, just as it may will not to share its knowledge and will to be secretive. None of this can be said to be an endowment of what is called artificial intelligence. What we are dealing with is a gadget that functions on what computational and mathematical calculations. It does not design its own pattern matching conventions, but depends on the design decision of it. Where then does this lead? My argument so far has been, if it is intelligent, it is not artificial, and if it is artificial, it is not intelligent. Artificial intelligence is not intelligent because of its privation, self-consciousness, and self-volition. That's why the question it raises is, where does this lead us? The submission in the preceding section of this paper neither diminishes nor denies the astounding accomplishment of science and technology in the area of computational informatics. It only serves to call attention to a phenomenon conventionally taken for granted. This phenomenon without is already having consequences in the arena of ethics, the arena of interrelationship. The pertinence of these remarks stems from the fact that artificial intelligence is a tool, not a substitute for the human person. If used without prudence, bears the huge potential of weakening interpersonal relationship. However, it can be used properly if we understood that communication is not just dissemination of information. Communication is essentially an act of love in which heart speaks to heart. Call hardcore loquitur, motto John Newman. Reduced to mere dissemination of information, it precipitously degenerates into dangerous misinformation, into a powerful propaganda machinery of negative social engineering. But where does artificial intelligence lead the church in the work of evangelization? Or, as some cynics of religion might say, or might ask, why bother on evangelization instead of bothering oneself with the task of development? In order to find an answer to the question, there is need to understand what development is and how the church's task of evangelization is itself a participation in the task of development. It takes a proper understanding of development and a proper understanding of evangelization to understand the church's mission of evangelization. To understand that mission is not unrelated to, but includes development of peoples. In the social doctrine of Catholicism, the task of evangelization and the task of development are inseparable. Pope Paul VI's admonition in his landmark encyclical Populorum Progressio and in his teaching in the post-synodal exhortation Evangelii Nunciandi to see the connection. In the former, that is, in Populorum Progressio, Paul is prophetically challenged to see development as representative. That is, it must be at the service of the human being, instead of development reductively conceived as abundance of profit, gadgets, and infrastructure. It highlights the fact that the human person is, even as he or she aspires to better relationship. So, to engage in the task of development is to be to the gospel. The human being is in search of supreme fulfillment. This search for supreme fulfillment moves him restless and propels him to conceive and execute operations which, rightly or erroneously, he believes will make him attain this supreme fulfillment. The quest for supreme fulfillment leads the human person to work for development, searching for the highest good. In all this, the human being is often tempted to seek supreme fulfillment in creaturely and finite things. But nothing creaturely, nothing finite can satisfy this quest for the supreme fulfillment. Following the orientation of seeking supreme fulfillment in creatures, the human being tends to development solely in terms of political and economic power, often acquired through foul means. And we have seen foul means in the history of our country. Those foul means are military coups and rigged elections. Development is thus seen exclusively in terms of economic indices of supply, demand, infrastructure. St. Augustine, who understood of his own significant fulfillment in material acquisitions and famous accomplishments alone, when he wrote his famous words at the beginning of his confessions, saying, You, Lord, have made us for yourself. Our hearts are restless until they rest. Thomas Aquinas, a commentator of Aristotle and Augustine, understood the same fact, expressing the Greek philosophers' philosophy of happiness as espoused in the latter's Nicomachean Ethics. Using the language of Augustine, Aquinas would postulate that happiness is to be found in God. Understood and synthesized, the insights of these great thinkers are showing us that the quest for development is ultimately a manifestation of the human quest for supreme fulfillment in God. The human being is not satisfied with gadgets, even if gadgets make his life more comfortable. His supreme fulfillment is not in the material things he desires, produces, acquires, possesses, and consumes. It is found in meaning, and the meaning is found in God. Evangelization is proclamation of good news, and what Christianity preaches good news is that the God whom human beings seek, often without knowing that he is the one they seek in their restlessness, has fully revealed himself, his Son. They were looking for God, but when he pointed out to them that the God they were looking for has fully revealed himself in Jesus Christ crucified. The good news is that life is not meaningless but meaningful, and that the meaning is in God, who in the past humanity before the religious and political leaders of the house of Israel, when he said, of all the names in the world given to men, this name, the name of Jesus, is the only one by which we can be saved. Mechanical informatics is an immense database necessary in a knowledge-driven civilization. Knowledge is indispensable for development. Another early Christian writer, Athanasius of Alexandria, would explain salvation as restoration of immortality lost by ignorance of God on the part of man, by the restoration of knowledge of God by God himself in the incarnation of his Son. If development is about the human quest for goodness, which is ultimately a quest for God, since God is the one in whom the supreme fulfillment the human spirit so ardently desires is to be found, evangelization is the dissemination of the good news that the God humanity desires has found humanity in his Son who became human. It is the proclamation that a God who loves humanity has communicated himself to humanity in Jesus of Nazareth. To be noted here, I'm told I have 5 minutes left, but I'll beat it because I'm getting towards my conclusion. To be noted here is that the evangelization is not mere communication of data. It is God communicating himself as love. It is divine self-communication inviting humanity to make a U-turn from the destructive path of self-worship to the ennobling path of friendship with and of a God who so loved the world that he gave his only Son, not to condemn, but to save the world. It is a self-communication of a God who invites every human being to love one's neighbor in the collaborative task of building a civilization of love. Artificial intelligence, or mathematized informatics, as I prefer to call it, can be used to promote a civilization of love. Whether or not this will be the case depends not on machines and gadgets lacking in self-consciousness and self-volition, but on human beings who, in their own self-consciousness and self-volition, are intelligent and free. Human beings who, in their intelligence and freedom, desire to love and be loved and possess the capacity to love and be loved, who work for their own good by working for the common good, and who work for the common good by working for their own good. I conclude. Communication is not just a technical operation. It is existential. It is an act of love, and God is love. Artificial intelligence can become a means of communication, a means of bridging gaps and fostering love when those who invent and deploy it work for their good by working for the common good, and work for the common good by working for their own good. The increasingly technocratic mindset of our time must be guided by a sapiential mindset that teaches not just the best way to live, but most importantly, the best way to live together. It is possible to travel from Lagos to Tokyo and back without saying a word to anyone. I can, from the comfort of my room, book my flight, hotel accommodation, rent a car, retrieve its ignition key using my credit card, have a good time, and return to my point of departure. But there is a gap which technology cannot bridge despite increasingly sophisticated means of exchanging information. Surely this has elevated quality of life, but biological life is served, not existential, where interpersonal relationship is absent. As core loquitur, heart speaks to heart, is absent, where there is no interpersonal relationship. In the absence of interpersonal relationship, humanity runs the risk of self-annihilation. Its technological accomplishments can easily become weapons of mass destruction. Technology, like any human accomplishment, has the capacity to enable and ennoble humanity. But again, our conduct and accomplishments diminish us when they are depersonalizing. And they become depersonalizing when they are removed from the sphere of morality. Technology becomes destructive when its conception, invention, and deployment are at odds with the common good. It becomes antithetical to common good when it is solely regulated by material norms of possibility, profitability, and pleasurability. That is what happens when technique and ethics are separated. That is not just true of technology. Technology without morality is as dangerous as politics without morality. Politics, in the true sense of the word, is inseparable from morality. When it is separated from morality, it is not politics. It is vanity. But the Machiavellian-inspired monstrous misconception of politics at service of the selfish interest of the politician have become a norm in a universe where the ultimate concern of the average politician is attainment and maintenance of power at any cost. A universe where the ethical intent of politics, rightly conceived, it is true of economics. What matters most is profit, where the human person is treated as a lot less than economic profit. It is unfortunately true of religion, where it is reduced to a little rise of miracles, as is the case with contemporary Nigerian religiosity. But we are not animals. If at all we are animals, we are rational and political animals. We are not just in search of the best way to live, we are in search of the best way to live together. We are not animals solely driven by the desire to prove ourselves. We are animals endowed with the capacity to intelligently regulate our common life for the sake of the common good. The great accomplishments of technology require good laws if they are to serve the common good. Good laws are made when legislators understand that law must be ordered by reason and subservient to morality. And the legislator too must be ordered by reason and must be subservient to morality. There is a relationship between morality and religion. Morality manifests the human quest for what is good. Religion manifests that the human quest for the good is a quest for a good that is transcendent, that is God. The obligation to live a moral life is independent of religious affiliation. It is in every human being by nature, as Paul pointed out to the Areopagites in the first reading of today's Mass. For in every human being is the natural inclination to the good. In every human being is a voice that whispers, do good, avoid evil. But Christianity goes further than that to teach that this God is neither a philosophical construct, nor a creature of the powerful, nor an opium of the poor, nor an image created by human beings intent on satisfying their libido. This God is a person who relates with human beings as persons and who has fully revealed himself in Jesus, his Son, who gave his disciples a mandate. The mandate Jesus gave his disciples is go out to the whole world, proclaim the gospel to all creation. Mark chapter 16, verse 15. The world of our time includes cyberspace. Therefore, the missionary mandate compels the church to go into cyberspace and preach, to go into the world of what is called artificial intelligence, to provide an ethical surveillance of cyberspace, and to make values of the gospel present in the world of science and technology. Thank you for listening.
We have listened to a truly intriguing and interesting lecture from our guest lecturer. presenting us the fundamental theological provocations and probings, artificial intelligence, evangelization, and social development. Two things that we can take away. First, that AI is not intelligent because it lacks self-determination. That's a philosophical concept. On the contrary, he suggested a term, mathematized informatics. I'm sure we are going to come back to that suggestion later on. And of course also that the cyberspace is part of the world of evangelization. Now, this speculative presentation has to be stepped down. And if you see the panel of discussants really being carefully chosen to make specific targeted interventions to some of the issues raised in our guest speaker's paper. And this is how we are going to go about to step it down concretely. Sister Dr. Florence Osho is an expert in missiology. So I will be asking her what are thoughts on artificial intelligence and evangelization concretely. Father Obodwechina is an expert in Catholic social teaching and the president of Caritas Nigeria. Therefore, I will be asking his thoughts, and his intervention is going to be on artificial intelligence and social development concretely. And Mr. Abiodun Alade, a trained journalist and a broadcaster. I will be asking his thoughts, intervention on artificial intelligence and faith-based communication. They have to say, what do you have to say on that? And how can shows of artificial intelligence, especially what you have noticed, algorithms. How do we handle the possibility of social disconnect because of artificial intelligence? These are the targeted interventions we're going to be making. But for a while, we're going to take a break now to learn what we are from Professor Akinwale to sink in and we'll have some thoughts in our mind. We're going to take a break for a short refreshment for 10 minutes. So please don't go far away. Just you want conveniences. The conveniences are available at the back door towards your left and to our right. But for now, let us take a 10-minute break.
And wisdom which invites us to reflect on the significant impact of artificial intelligence on humanity and the broader implications for creation. On this first day of the Communication Week, the topic for reflection is understanding the basics of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is a product of human intelligence, but more importantly, and never to be lost, it is God's gift to humanity. All media technologies are gifts from God, which the church must always take advantage of for her mission. Without engaging in prayer, we Christians need to engage this growing tool in the work of the Holy Spirit, particularly in areas of formation like catechesis, proclamation, and even spirituality. Though still evolving, AI is an important tool today, which should not be ignored by the church. It advances beyond, providing links and easy connections among cultures, breaking down distance and language barriers, and allowing exchange of experience and information. In order to be able to make the best of this technology in promoting the mission of the church and for the general good of humanity, we need to have some basic knowledge of it, understanding the advantages and dangers. We should recognize its limits and not allow it to move us away from God, who is the source of our intelligence. The Pope therefore reminds us that wisdom cannot be sought from machines. Though machines may possess a limitlessly greater capacity than human beings for storing and correlating data, only human beings are capable of making sense of that data because they are actually products of human intelligence. Suffice therefore to say that as important and powerful as it is, AE is just a tool and cannot replace the human person. IE is not capable of emotions or love, but A can and should be used to foster love, unity, and understanding among humans and creation as a whole. Therefore, human missionaries are still needed to identify areas of compassion. And with the assistance of AI, these human missionaries can bring the good news of Jesus Christ to those in disadvantaged areas as Peter did to Cornelius and his household in the first reading of today from Acts of the Apostles 10, 25, 48. In summary, even though machines like computers can store and process vast amounts of data, they lack a heart and true wisdom. Wisdom cannot be found in machines. Wisdom is a human quality which enables humans to make sense of information beyond raw data. Wisdom is uniquely human. Machines cannot replace our hearts, understanding, and connections with each other. So instead of trying to be like gods, we should appreciate AI as God's gifts, which must be used to serve God and serve one another. Happy Sunday.
Our Comweek is Ethical Considerations of Artificial Intelligence. The term ethics is concerned with what is right and wrong, and what is right and wrong is determined by truth. One must have the disposition and the capacity of accessing the truth in order to know what is truly right. The Catholic Church over the ages stands as the custodian of the complete and unadulterated truth, rooted upon Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the life. And her position is that as a result of natural law, goodness and rays of truth abound everywhere, even though the things within our reach can at one time or the other become either an opportunity or a threat. In fact, in the words of the Pope, our very bodies, created for communication and communion, can become a means of oppression. In the same way, every technical extension of our humanity can be a means of loving service or of hostile domination. Some factors that mitigate against truth include human tendency towards lies and deception. 2. Fear of facing uncomfortable realities about ourselves. 3. Biases which distort our view of reality. 4. Arrogance of believing that everything is relative and that there can be no absolute truth. Truly difficult and complex situation where one is. 6. A sincere inability to draw a balance between objective and relative truth. Catholic Church is great concern towards regulating the creation and deployment of this technology because of the challenge of human dignity in the face of threats from industrial society. Thus, if artificial intelligence is to become a tool that will play a very crucial role in the life of humanity, then the creation of such a tool must be very carefully regulated to uphold the highest standards and the highest sense of responsibility, ensuring that AI complements human work rather than replacing it. To guide this, the Church stresses that education and formation is crucial in preparing people to engage with AI in a critical and ethical way as to avoid the long-standing problem of disinformation in the form of fake news. One, two. One, two.
Intelligence has the potential to transform education, but its deployment must be guided by principles of equity, transparency, and ethics. Is world. In this age, day of our reflection of artificial intelligence and the future of education. Education is intrinsically linked to the social teachings of the church. It fosters empathy, understanding, and a sense of responsibility toward others.
One, two.
Education plays a crucial role in nurturing the dignity of the human person by promoting intellectual, moral, and spiritual growth. It also promotes environmental awareness and responsible stewardship, whilst teaching respect for creation and sustainable practices. Education takes place within families and communities. Thus, the church recognizes the family as the primary educator, emphasizing moral values and faith. Authentic education aims to form peacemakers who work toward a just and harmonious world. In this age, artificial intelligence is impacting the education sector by improving access, administrative process, and learning outcomes. It is very helpful to the educator, as well as to the students. Among the advantages of artificial intelligence include automated administrative tasks, which saves the teacher from all the hassles of filing papers, developing lecture resources. 2. Smart content creation. 3. Personalized education. 4. Easy access to education in spite of distance. 5. Translation of several different languages. 6. Assistance by AI-powered chatbots, specifically designed to provide 24/7 aid to students on various subjects. Facial recognition to enhance the security and management of school environment, and lots more. Disadvantages of AI in education, on the other hand. Technology addiction. 2. Quality is not assured. 3. May displace humans, because they are machines will always be available, work longer hours, and become more accurate as they learn. 4. Malfunctioning of the machines. 5. Vulnerable to cyber attacks. 6. More use of power is needed, which increases utility and administrative costs. 7. Widening the media divide educational gap due to high implementation costs, especially on poor people and countries, and lots more. In the final analysis, artificial intelligence has the potential to transform education, but its deployment must be guided by principles of equity, transparency, and ethics. Formation in artificial literacy is very key to this whole process. God bless you.
Hello, please can we make our way to the hall, please? Our 10 minutes break is over, please. Please can we make ourselves available for us to continue, please? Ladies and gentlemen, please can we make our way to the hall, please? Ushers, please try and get people in to sit down. Let's continue, please.
Will the moderator please come? Brothers and sisters, shall we please come back now? MC, Mr. Joseph Ishu, where are you please?
We welcome you back from your break. We hope you felt refreshed a little bit. For the interventions of our panelists, this is how we are going to go. This is the order. Each of the panelists will have 10 minutes each. At the 7th minute, you will be prompted. When you have 3 minutes more, you will be prompted so that you know that you have 3 minutes more and you try to wrap up your intervention. Sure, Honorable Regina, Mr. Alade, and we try to step down the heavy load of lecture that Professor Akinwale gave us this morning. Truly provoking and Sister Dr. Florence Osho, an expert in missiology, is going to help us step down all that we have to say about artificial intelligence, or as we call it, magnetized informatics, as it relates to the work of evangelization. Father Obodrechina will be speaking to the issues of artificial intelligence and the contributions it can make in the field of social development. While Mr. Abiodun Alade, a trained journalist and broadcaster, will be looking at or will be giving his thoughts on artificial intelligence and what it can offer faith-based communication agencies like the communication department of the Catholic Secretariat or the Catholic TV. And how does artificial intelligence promote social cohesion and not social isolation? Each of you have 10 minutes each, and I have the honor to yield the floor first to Sister Dr. Koresh Adetong Osho.
Thank you, Father Aino. All protocol duly observed. My intervention as a response to Father Kimaru's titled Artificial Intelligence and the Mission of the Church. The mission of the Church, simply put, is the proclamation of the gospel. And this is proclamation. It means it's dissemination of the good news, sharing of the good news. It has to be spread. And that's what we term also as evangelization. And we know that the church cannot do without media, since her mission is to disseminate the good news. And the media offers the greatest and most efficient platform for mission. That's the platform where we bring more people today, and particularly the youth are found on the platform. Therefore, the church has to engage this tool in order to carry out the mission entrusted to her. The society we live in today, as we heard, is highly digitalized, and it's getting more and more immersed in it by the day. So the role of media in the evangelizing mission of the church is an effort to reach different people at different places and at the same time. So the progress the church has made in this area so far is commendable. Now, as the culture of our global village becomes increasingly digitalized, our missionary mandate calls us to enter into the digital culture. And digital evangelization has opened up so many avenues for people to encounter the good news. There is no doubt that the new media technology offers an opportunity to reach out to the world more effectively. It facilitates connecting different communities, different churches, and different worlds, and this can lead to collaboration among churches. AI, as we have heard, is a technology, and this technology is fast transforming the world. It is also transforming the church and their life, and their mission cannot be left out of this transformation. So it is a tool that will enable people to rethink and make progress on the way the mission is to be carried out. But I must tell you that AI has its advantages and disadvantages for the mission of the church. And the advantages to begin with are very numerous. And I've heard communication outreach to streamline enhance worship, to streamline administrative tasks. As many as the advantages are, they are there to kind of bolster evangelization, the mission of the church. So AI with making the work of the pastors of the church easier. So many people at a very fast time. So AI can truly revolutionize the way the church does its work in the modern world. As many advantages are, it also has disadvantages. And this is where people are raising concerns about the disadvantages that is found in the use of AI. Because an over-reliance of AI for spiritual guidance could actually eliminate totally established avenue, for genuine personal interaction among people. The relationship between the priest and the community is one of the most important aspects, part of religion. That is, the priest or the pastors have contact with people, and I mean physical contact as it is right now. So AI can possibly reduce human and sensitive interactions that are crucial for spiritual direction and pastoral care. People have better experience when they have physical contact, of this physical experience of the pastor, of the priest. Because religion is not something of the brain. It's, has to do also with the mind, with the heart, emotions as well. So because of that, we can't just depend completely on AI and then turn our back on physical means of evangelization. This technology is already altering the world, as I said, and many people have embraced it, especially the youth. But I'm aware that there are still so many Christians who are very slow in embracing AI because of the question as to whether AI is inimical or is evil, is of evil origin, or is dangerous to the faith, whether the church will subscribe to it. So many people are very slow in embracing it. But I think we should not be afraid of embracing this, because the church is not opposed to technology. In fact, the second document of the Vatican II that was released by Vatican II, Inter Mirifica, actually speaks on, the promotion of the engagement of technology in the church. So the church must be innovative. So AI is not evil, it is not inimical, neither is it dangerous. So since it is technology, I think Christians should consider the use of it in a very responsible way and to use it in a very ethical manner. AI is compatible, I would say, to the Christian faith. And for those who are afraid, who are very slow in embracing it, we know it involves so many risks. But we don't, because it involves some risk, we stay away from AI. But I think what we should do is that the church should come into it, and the church should look for a way to kind of try to eliminate the concerns, the ethical concerns that makes people to be slow and to be afraid and, to be against the use of this technology. Because if you look at what Evangelii Nunciandi says in number 25, it describes evangelization as a bringing of the good news into the strata, into the situation of the human person. And the digital world is where many people are found at this moment. So new evangelization must therefore be new in ardor, new in methods, and in expression. So the mission is one and unchanging, but it's found in unchanging circumstances. Therefore, the mission cannot stay out of this, cannot be, stereotyped to a particular manner. The mission in the world today is no longer limited only to territories, but also it must reach people wherever they are found. So the mission must be directed to people wherever you find them. And the youth, as we know, most of them are found in the digital space, evangelized on social media. The world is moving forward. The church cannot stay behind. The church will need to move, as the world is moving forward. So the new planet we are called to travel and to evangelize today is the social media. So the people who want to evangelize are in that media, so we go to meet them. And lastly, that AI on its own, or technology on its own, is neutral. Is the implementation. People use it negatively, could use it to exploit other people could use it to other harm. That is where the church should focus their attention. So considering the prospect of ongoing dialogue and research must be a priority in order to address the influence of AI in the Catholic Church. It will be important to strike a balance between embracing the benefits of AI technology and preserving the core values and traditions of the Catholic faith. So this may involve carefully evaluating each proposed use of AI and developing guidelines and best practices for AI adoption that prioritize ethical decision making, respect for human dignity, and the promotion of common good. Thank you.
I wish to stand on the already established protocols by thanking the erudite professor for bringing us a certain level of awareness about AI and the circumstance of our lives today. My assignment is to talk from the perspective of Catholic social teachings and AI, human promotion and development. We would like to remind us that the high water point of Christian anthropology is the fact that we are human persons. And these human persons are the image and likeness of God. And they are not means to any end. They are ends in themselves. Rights that are not being conferred by the state, conferred by God himself, and therefore inalienable. And when we look at it from that angle, it aligns with the position of the professor on AI and development. Every form of human development, from the perspective of Catholic social teachings, from the tradition, any form of human development that does not serve the interest, the general well-being of the human person, cannot be said authentic. Therefore, every form of development that serves the common interest of humanity is to be encouraged, facilitated, and promoted. And that makes a sharp distinction between the disruptive technology, whereby, for example, it wants to build roads, railways, water, airports, stadia, and all that. Beautifying the city. The disruptive technology we apply do not serve the interest of the common good and that of the individual member of society, then it is not worth it. Such that all efforts, and that's also the effort of government and the effort of civil bodies and organizations, and also what science also intends to do, it is intended to serve humanity. Because man is the apex of all creation and is the center of development. Therefore, any form of AI that does not serve that is not worth promoting. It is also very true that today we cannot avoid the impact of technology and the presence of innovative technology. In fact, it is desired. Because the positive aspect of AI gives us the capacity to do more things than we were able to do before. It enhances our human intelligence and capacitates us for great work with precision. So it has its nature very, very advantageous. You can see the impact of the computer and all that. How precise and all that. How efficient, the exactitude and all that. It's also a level. And that's also where I feel that the professor has some right, because the machines themselves have no capacity for such introspection, for such expansion, for such innovations of human intelligence. And that is why